Hi, my name is Riley Allen. This is my review of Chapter 8 of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, titled Flight of the Fat Lady. So, Harry is kind of recapping how Defense Against the Dark Arts has become everybody's favorite class, and the lessons they've taken while everything else kind of sucks, with Trelawney still predicting his death, Hagrid losing his competence. I don't know if he ever really had that in the teaching department. He has it in the animal department when he, was not naming weird fuck you creatures fluffy. But he lost his confidence, and now he's got them just doing flobberworms, which I agree with Ron, kind of seems boring. But I do get the lesson. This is the lesson he should have started off with. He should have started off with flobberworms, then worked his way up. But I guess Hagrid, finally getting to do magic, finally getting to teach, and finally getting to, share the love of animals he has with the future generations, kind of jumped the gun. And it backfired, so yeah. And then, because if you didn't think Snape was a piece of shit enough, he heard about, Neville's boggart being Snape himself, so he proceeded to bully Neville worse, just like ramming the point home. Yep. A fucking dick. And Malfoy still has not gotten new material as, oh, Potter, it's a Dementor, Potter. Come on, man. You're supposed to be his bully. Get some new material, bro. So, this is one thing about the Harry Potter books that kind of baffles me. Harry's parents died on Halloween, and he never, you'd think that he just, I get it, he doesn't know them, and he didn't know till, I don't know, does he know that they died on Halloween? I can't remember if he's been told exactly it was Halloween they died, but I feel like him being excited about Halloween should be kind of non-existent, considering, his parents' deaths led to him living with the Dursleys, who kind of suck. Whatever, though. You gotta see the joy in life, I guess. So, it's Hogsmeade weekend, and since Harry didn't get his permission slip signed by the Dursleys, he can't go. And Harry proceeds to prove the Hat wrong about that Slytherin comments from last book by asking McGonagall directly, can you sign my permission form so I can go to Hogsmeade? And McGonagall seems kind of sympathetic, but she is firm and no, can't do that shit. And poor he's trying to help. Percy's trying to help, Hogsmeade is completely overrated, except the joke shop. Except the sweet shop, and the joke shop's kind of got its things, and you've got to go see the, Shrieking Shack, but other than that, completely overrated. Shit. Buddy should have just kept his mouth shut, it's completely overrated, I'm not even going. Or some shit like that, But I gotta give Percy points for trying. So, Hermione's cat Crookshanks attempts to assassinate Scabbers again. And again, I understand both Hermione and Ron. Crookshanks is a cat and it is a predator. It is, predispositioned to hunt rats, but Scabbers is Ron's pet, and of course he's going to be pissed if he's getting attacked. I do think, though, that knowing that about the Scabbers part, Hermione should be not so much keep Crookshanks on a leash, but keep them in check. But I do understand both points of Ron and Hermione's, grief and over this. And to Hermione's credit, she does try to ask Ron how Scabbers is doing, so, she's not a piece of shit. But I also understand why Ron was still angry, because that's his pet. So Harry ends up going to... So they go to Lavender gets news that her bunny has died. And she got it on the date of October, the date that Trelawney said. And Hermione's out here trying to be logical, like, well, you couldn't have been dreading it because it was a baby, and it didn't even die on this day. And I'm just like, girl. Okay, so maybe she wasn't dreading it, and maybe that, but how, and maybe she didn't die on this day, but how the hell would Trelawney know this specific day? She got the date right. I didn't check the chapters, but I'm just gonna, trust Lavender and say Trelawney got the day right. How would she get that day right? I'm assuming that Trelawney kind of saw something important would happen on this day, and just, it was one of those things. I think Trelawney is kind of a sham, kind of a hack, but she, mixes enough realness where she can. I do think maybe she actually saw something would happen on this date. Again, I'm basing on the fact that Lavender remembered the date. I do not remember the date from the few chapters earlier. I should have looked, but I didn't. That's on me. But we're going to trust Lavender to recognize the date. And we're also going to trust Hermione, who hates this class and didn't point out that this is the wrong date from what Trelawney said. So we're just going to go with that and say, I think Trelawney saw that something bad would happen to Lavender on this day and made that prediction. I think, yeah. Trelawney was kind of right, and Hermione's just kind of a dick. I'm going to be honest, that was kind of a dick move. So then they go to Hogsmeade. Harry ends up going to have tea with Lupin, where he asked Lupin point blank why he didn't let him face the boggart. And to Harry's surprise, Lupin didn't even object to it. He's like, oh, because I didn't think Voldemort showing up in my class would be a very great start to the year. And Harry's like, I thought about Voldemort, but it's actually them Dementors. Which, has gotta... Someone needs to tell Voldemort that his arch nemesis' biggest fear ain't even him. You gotta step up your game. Come on, man. Anyway. That impresses Lupin, because that means Harry's biggest fear is fear itself. Meanwhile, Snape comes in with a smoking goblet, which Lupin says it's because he hasn't been feeling great lately. Which, of course, is his Wolfbane potion, because he's a werewolf, we learn later in the book. And Harry's like, Snape has been rumored to do anything to get the position of Dark Arts teacher. Might even kill you. And I bet for someone like Lupin, who knows that Snape was a spy, or I assume he knows Snape is a spy, and also the history between him and Snape, probably found this absolutely hilarious. Added on that this was coming from James Potter's son. Also, Snape is absolutely not poisoning Lupin, because Dumbledore would immediately know. I'm gonna be honest. Lupin can't die without Snape getting accused. I don't think if Lupin drops dead because of poisoning, Dumbledore's gonna let Snape slide. That's not gonna happen. And Snape knows this. He's out here. Snape's biggest worry about keeping someone alive is Snape. He ain't gonna jeopardize that for some revenge. I mean, you can't have that victory celebration over one of your childhood bullies getting killed if you're rotting in Azkaban for his murder. But I do love that Harry kind of starts observing Snape and is like, is it just me, or does Snape look at Lupin a little bit too much? They end up going back to the portrait and notice that the fat lady is missing and it's been all slashed up. And it's because Sirius Black came in and slashed her up when she wouldn't let him through. And the reason he came through is because the people think it's to get Harry, but in actuality, it's to get Scabbers. That's also, I think, the real reason that Crookshanks has been going after Scabbers and not the rat of it all, but still. This chapter was pretty good. I love the cliffhanger and with Peeves, you know, being Peeves of it all. Peeves. I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10. Thanks for watching the video. Leave a like, comment, subscribe if you want, and I'll see you in the next video.